All right, guys, the Green Bay Packers bye week is now officially over, and today the Packers return to practice ahead of their Week 6 matchup versus the Cincinnati Bengals this Sunday, and there are a lot of injury updates to go over, including 2 players designated to return from IR for the Green Bay Packers, and other players also returning to practice that were on the injury report last week as well. So wanted to dive down into all the injury updates after the bye week for the Green Bay Packers as they seemingly get a little bit healthier. Would really appreciate if you guys went down and clicked the subscribe button if you haven't yet already. You'll stay in the loop with everything Green Bay Packers this season, from injury updates, game live streams, game previews, PFF breakdowns, film breakdowns. You'll find it all here right on this channel. If that does interest you, I'd highly suggest clicking subscribe. And real quick, before we dive in, wanted to go over my sleeper picks for tonight, the Kansas City Chiefs versus Jacksonville Jaguars here on Sleeper. Use code BASS when making a first-time deposit. Link down in the description to get a 100% match up to $100. And Sleeper is actually running a awesome promo right now. New users get a free $20 entry, no deposit required. So head on over to Sleeper with my link down below to claim your free $20 entry. Quickly going over my picks, I have Patrick Mahomes, a free pick here, more than a half a passing yard. Brenton Strange, more than 35.5 receiving yards. Brian Thomas, more than 4.5 receptions. And Xavier Worthy, more than 4.5 receptions. Let me know your picks down in the comments below. Make sure to go check out Sleeper and use code BASS when making a first-time deposit. All right, so let's first dive into the massive news today for the Green Bay Packers in terms of a player returning from injury, and it's a crazy one. And that is that Christian Watson has been designated to return from the PUP. And not only that, he is practicing today. And this opens that 21-day window where he would then have to be activated. And guys, he just tore his ACL like 9 months ago against the Chicago Bears. And all offseason, we were hearing reports that Christian Watson was ahead of schedule. We saw some clips here and there of him running routes, doing some work on the sideline. And every time we saw him, he looked ahead of schedule. And we kind of were sitting here wondering, okay, is he going to be able to return after the bye week? Is it realistic that Watson returns week 6 in the 2025 NFL season? And it's seeming very likely that Watson is going to return very, very soon. And we actually have some clips of him in today's practice. And one thing to note here, he's not even wearing a sleeve on that knee where he tore his ACL. Normally, players returning from a torn ACL, when they first start practicing, they're wearing some type of sleeve or some type of brace. Like, if you didn't know Christian Watson tore his ACL and you were just looking at this clip with zero context, you would have no idea that he ever had a knee injury, ACL injury, and it's a half-speed route on air. I get that. But he looks good. Like, he looks ahead of schedule. He looks like he's ready to return, and I know Christian Watson as a ball player is just itching to get on this football field. Here's another clip, a little bit faster speed on a quick screen route. You can see him cutting off of both knees without any issue. It doesn't look like he's favoring that right knee where he tore his ACL just 9 months ago. And like I said, the Packers now have 21 days to activate Christian Watson onto the active roster. And right now the Packers are sitting at 51 total players, so they wouldn't even need to release a player to add Watson on the roster. Now, will he be available for the Cincinnati Bengals game? I don't believe so. I mean, I'm assuming here. I would assume they'd keep him out of this game, maybe let him return. I think it's week 7 against Arizona. We'll see how the course goes. Obviously, this is just one practice and don't want to get your hopes up. There's setbacks that could happen. Obviously, we don't want that to happen, but we've seen it with other players in the Packers organization. But from the surface level, looking at this and throughout the entire offseason, Watson looks great, and he looks like he's ready to return. And guys, Watson returning to this offense could be monumental for this offense. Now, obviously, the Packers scored 40 points against the Dallas Cowboys defense in a disgusting tie, but the offense is really starting to click now. Jordan Love is playing at an extremely high level. It seems like he's starting to build more rapport with Matthew Golden. Obviously, Jaden Reed is still out with the broken collarbone, the foot issue. He will probably be out for a significant amount of time, but getting Christian Watson back here could do so much and open up so much more within this offense. Imagine having Matthew Golden, who already is a very fast wide receiver and one of the best separators early on through the first 5 weeks of the NFL season, and then adding Christian Watson into that mix, a also very fast wide receiver, but a guy that's 6'5" and can really go up and get a football and be our contested catch guy. That is what he was for the Green Bay Packers through his first 3 seasons as a Packer. And last year, coming off a 620-yard season, 2-touchdown season, there's more to build on for Christian Watson. And obviously returning from a torn ACL is a massive hurdle to get over. But it seems like Watson has just attacked this head on and has done everything in his power to rehab correctly and get back to a spot where he can be his former self on the football field. And I'm very intrigued with the thought of having Christian Watson, Matthew Golden on the field at the same time, say in 12 personnel, how much you could stretch the field with those two against a defense. It's very, very intriguing to think about. And I'm excited, super, super excited for Watson to hopefully be back very, very soon. In terms of other injury updates, we have some other great news, and that is that Zach Tom and Aaron Banks also both returned to practice today. Those are 2 starting offensive linemen. Aaron Banks hasn't been really able to stay healthy. He's been running Jordan Morgan at left guard. Zach Tom, obviously, our best offensive lineman. There's no argument there. Tried to return from that oblique injury, couldn't go after one play against the Browns, had to then come out and hasn't practiced since, but it's really great to see him returning to practice today, both of which returning to practice might have a chance to play against the Bengals. The Packers may really lean on the side of caution when it comes to Zach Tom. They don't want to repeat what they did versus Cleveland. But Aaron Banks returning with the groin injury is good news. I think he should be able to suit up this Sunday against the Bengals. And then also, obviously, a lot of this has been good news so far. It's not all good news. Devontae Wyatt remains out with a knee injury. And also, rookie offensive lineman Anthony Belton with his ankle injury remains out. So not great news here to see Devontae Wyatt still out. He's someone that has been huge for this defense. Everyone talks about, Micah Parsons, Rashawn Gary, all these guys, Edgerrin Cooper, but Devontae Wyatt has been a massive part and reason why these guys are at a high level. You could see at the moment he was off the field against the Cowboys, things started to really fall apart in the interior of that defensive line because the depth after him at 3 tech isn't the best, right? You have Carl Brooks, who really just a pass rusher, not really great against the run. And then after that, you have some guys that are pretty much playing nose tackle in Colby Wooden, Nazir Stackhouse. Maybe we'll see some more in Brinson finally after the bye week here. Maybe the Packers will start to activate him over Nazir Stackhouse on game day, give him some opportunity, especially if Devontae Wyatt isn't able to suit up here in week 6. Also, another good update here is Jacob Monk is also practicing, also opening his window off IR. So for the same of Christian Watson, he now has 21 days to be activated to the roster. And with all the injuries the Packers have suffered on their O-line, I would assume they'll try to get Jacob Monk activated, get him on the roster to have that depth on the interior in case some more injuries happen or flare back up, such as Aaron Banks. Now, there are some other players that haven't begun practicing or begun the designation to return off IR, and that includes Packers rookie Colin Oliver, rookie John Williams, offensive lineman, and also Marshawn Lloyd. It feels like we don't really get many updates on Marshawn Lloyd, and at this rate, who knows when he'll be able to return, and who knows if he'll even be able to stay healthy. But nonetheless, some really good injury updates today. To see Christian Watson out here practicing like that with 0 leg sleeve, 0 brace, and moving around like nothing ever happened is some crazy stuff. His recovery has really rivaled the Adrian Peterson ACL recovery. And if Watson can return, this week, next week, it's right around that same timeline that Adrian Peterson did it, which is crazy. And obviously modern medicine has advanced a lot, but it's still crazy to see. I remember seeing an update like 6 weeks ago that Watson was saying he was running 22 miles an hour. It's just crazy to hear. And you see it, man. You see it out here on the practice field. He looks like there was never an issue in that knee. And obviously full speed, that'll be the difference. If he can practice and full speed, take a hit, make full cuts, and trust that right knee, of course, after suffering a brutal injury in it. And I'm really excited for him to hopefully return and be back at the level that we remember Christian Watson at, and just be added into this offense of Matthew Golden, Romeo Doubs, Tay Wicks, Savion Williams, Tucker Kraft. I mean, the sky's the limit for this offense once everyone is healthy, and it seems like we're trending that way. But I really appreciate you guys coming by to the video. Wanted to give you guys all the injury updates today as the Packers began practicing today after their bye week. Now they have the first official practice of week 6 on Wednesday, and then that'll give the actual injury report as well as Thursday and Friday with all the designations on Friday. So be on the lookout for those videos here on this channel. But I really appreciate you guys coming by. I'll catch you on the next one. And as always, go Pack Go.